Shored up the laning phase, where they could see the laning focus of the brand, respect it with the Ezreal, so much harder to lock down and profit from it. So good drafting from Kongdoo, and okay, we will for once have CJE Entus on the red side. Kongdoo Monster has this the choice of side selection in games 1 and now in game 3, and this time they elect blue side.
See how that's going to change things up, where their first pick priority is going to go. First and foremost, though, we'll take a look at the bans. It's going to be Kennen yet again, so Kongdoo really not wanting this one in the hands of Soul.
Had a lot of fighters banned away during picks and bans in our first 2 sets of the day. This draft looked really good from Roach, it must be mentioned, one of the most maligned members of the Kongdoo Monster squad. Not known for his carry play, definitely prefers to play the tanks, but the itemization and in general, the robustness of his play against Rumble, which can be a difficult lane, was pretty good there from Roach. And Soul, we mentioned that, sure, he can play the Rumble, but he's not one of these Rumble mains, and I think that kind of shone through in some of the equalizers in game 1. Game 2, sorry.
Well, the Shen to follow up, and LeBlanc taken away from Edge for the first time in this series. Was easily dealt with in game number 1. Candy having a very good game with the Cassiopeia, but very much helped by winged performance as he helped take down Punch early on in that game. Jace to follow up, so a couple picks here that neither team really wants to deal with. Thus far, the Twitch is still available that we've seen CJ ban in both games.
I'm not sure if they need to invest a third ban towards it, but well, I think they can definitely come back to haunt them if they don't. The LeBlanc ban I like. They don't want to deal with having to work out an appropriate mid lane matchup into it. Lee Sin banned against Winged. Don't want to first pick the Lee Sin to Kongdoo Monster. And I have to survey what's available in this regard. Graves certainly is a likely first pick, and a pick that Kongdoo Monster at parts of the season actually put to good use from the jungle.
Yeah, and I have to expect that would be the anticipated pickup here for them, as Winged did play that in game 1, had a pretty good performance. Fizz will be the final ban away here from CJ, so keeping things pretty much the same, just swapping out that Twitch for the LeBlanc.
Double Fizz ban finally leads to a third Fizz ban, even on red side for CJE Entus. So Graves, the clear power pick that has escaped through to picks and bans, and another one that, again, Punch has had some good games on, so we'll lock that in. So is the Rengar available for Winged if he wants to return to it. Wasn't a big fan of it in game 2, but it is an option to him. Elise also another possibility, also to free up a potential last pick AD mid laner. Rumble's available again, and we'll see if Soul wants to return to it.
If we see it come out, could just see the Gragas yet again for Roach, but for now, go ahead, pick up that Lulu, so get that out of the hands of Googer.
If you want the Rumble, you take it as the third pick on red side, because then you can start looking towards bans. You could even ban the Gragas, for example. CJ isn't necessarily in a rush to select the Rumble, unless they want to pinch another role. And Camille is open and will be taken now. Renekton is a pretty clean lane counter to the Camille. I believe Roach has played Renekton this season. A couple of games have been played by Roach on that Renekton. 1-on-1, which, you know, given the team didn't do a lot of winnings, it's actually a very respectable win rate there. So will they go team-focused with the Rumble or more lane-focused with the Renekton? Definitely a risk to if they decide to draft it, but they will go here for the Rumble. A lane that can snowball out of control for Soul in the top lane.
Yeah, you can get those early kills coming through, or even just shove the Rumble out of lane, deny the CS. Pick up something like that Sheen into the Tiamat early on. It'll make things very difficult to get through, but it's going to be the Twitch pickup here for the other Soul. We're having this nice little conflict where we have a Soul on each team, but the Soul for Kongdoo Monster finally has the Twitch available, and he'll pick it up, so we'll see what all the hype's about.
It's a lot of respect as well, given that this is with Lulu taken away, and they could ban Karma if they so chose, and basically take away all the Shield champions. Shen very unlikely to be drafted. Well, it's banned anyway, but if it was available, it would be unlikely to draft because they had the Rumble anyway. So when it comes to picks to empower Twitch, we're expecting there not to be too many on the side of Kongdoo Monster. Edge played quite a lot of Orianna, and that looks like a potential mid lane draft for them. They will have to blind pick mid lane most likely. So let's see how much utility focus is put into the bans on the side of CJ Entus.
I mean, not only that, but I want to see what Veritas is going to bring out to how, go into this Twitch.
A couple of different schools of thought on how to approach Twitch. You can fight fire with long-range champions, like, for example, the Jinx. Definitely a possibility there. Laning phase is certainly nothing to write home about, so you can take riskier picks as well. So there's definitely different ways you can approach the Twitch. We'll have to wait, like you mentioned. The support and mid lane looking to be drafted by Kongdoo. Already banned away the Varus. They're trying to ban away these non-committal longer range champions. Could even ban Ezreal on this spot, which sounds peculiar, but another champion that can Arcane Shift flash away from a spray and pray opening.
Certainly are taking their time with these drafts. Down to the wire here. Don't want to be knocked into that losers match to follow up, and it's going to be an Echo ban out of the mid lane.
Saying, okay, we want to play Syndra. We're going to draft Syndra, so we're going to ban Echo. That's the champion that you consider banning Echo for if you either have selected it or you wish to select it. So how do you react to this if you're Kongdoo Monster? It's a sort of ban where even if you're not going to play Syndra, you can do this and basically bait out a Syndra ban, but no, they will ban Kog'Maw to stop there being the artillery battle and give over Syndra if it's to be selected by Candy. 6-1 on Syndra. Again, they only lost 4 games. They have a lot of big win rate champions. We'll wait till last pick if they are to select the Syndra.
I mean, honestly, do you just draft it for yourself here as Edge? Be a lot of AP damage between the Rumble and that Syndra in mid, depending on what the support would be. But could definitely balance something out if they snatch it up.
Could also go Orianna and just try to get through laning phase against a Syndra. Definitely not a fantastic matchup for Ori. But you're right, it is kind of a double-edged sword here. We expect Syndra to be the draft if available for CJ. It makes so much sense with the pick comp established by the Camille and the Elise. So maybe you just take Syndra as a denial pick and as a safe blind pick on the side of Kongdoo Monster.
Well, they're already fully committing here with not having a true tank. The Graves and the Rumble can get a bit tanky, but overall, they'll be very susceptible to getting picked off one by one. What with that Elise coming through the hook shot from Soul on that Camille to lock people in.
Yeah, Kongdoo have gone for the sort of comp we expect KT Rolster to draft.
Yeah.
Did so much this season is, oh baby, they're considering a Lux on the side. I don't think that's going to come through as Zed is certainly another option. And it's one of the riskier choices into Syndra, but a lot of outplay potential. Much like Echo on the Syndra Ultimate. They already had the Elise, so had the flexibility for a physical damage mid laner, and it's another champion that can ruin Twitch's day, who can't just fire away freely when Zed is mid-flight. So interesting draft here from CJ. They go very Candy-focused in Game 3. They can get Candy out of lane and into Twitch's lane, which will find it hard to wave clear under turret. We saw a similar thing by KT in the first telecom war, drafting the Zed into Ezreal, who doesn't necessarily have the wave clear. Twitch a bit more in terms of wave clear options, but certainly no Caitlyn when it comes to wave clear.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to have to take a look at how that bottom lane is going to transpire with that Caitlyn poking out Soul early on. Needs to try to not fall behind significantly in CS if he's going to hit that critical point like we saw from the likes of Bang during that final series versus KT Rolster. Interesting draft on both sides. High risk, high reward across the board.
I really like the Zed because when you consider it, again, against Twitch, a good way to shut down the Twitch and team fight is to dive onto him. Rumble and no true tank means that there is good side lane matchups regardless of who is in top or bot lane in the mid game. And Edge certainly won't be able to rotate and follow him unless he has an item lead, can go Zhonya's into offensive items. So Summon is down, Edge won't have a lot of options, so it feels like if this match can play out in CJ's wheelhouse in the early game, they have a lot of options to overwhelm and take down Kongdoo in the mid game. But late game Twitch is a possibility on the side of Kongdoo Monster.
All right, well, we've had some wonky starts, Punch especially, knowing how that one feels. Let's see what happens in the early game here as we go into Game 3. We'll see who closes out the series and who's going to end up in that losers match coming up after this. the dominance has already been asserted, Candy. I think 2 people with the shuriken, so the game is over. CJ have won.
Well, let's just play it out for fun then.
Yeah.
You know, now that the game's in the bag. I mean, honestly, I pretty much have similar sentiment when it comes to the draft for CJ into Kongdoo, but
there's a big wraparound coming in.
This is definitely turning into
look at this.
CJ looking for a very big wraparound.
Well, it starts with the W
Kongdoo
here.
have no idea.
And they push forward. Punch already going to get exhausted. The stun through from the hook shot. And they finished it off with the Piltover Peacemaker. First blood over to Veritas. Couldn't be more of a crushing start here for Kongdoo Monster.
Just never see play like that where they just go all the way around. Feels like we're back to pre-season 1, season 2. When it comes to this sort of plays that used to be done, but defensive warding got so much more, defensive warding and spotting got so much more robust. The moment they got the double shuriken, they seemed to know exactly what was going on, and credit to CJ, once again, at level 1, warping the course of a game.
Yeah, and I mean, really good adaptation on the starting skills there from several members of Soul, especially with the hook shot coming in, guaranteeing that stun, and just helping to get the kill. I thought maybe we would see the cocoon from Winged, but wanted that spider lane to check the brush. And everything culminated for CJ, and they come up with that first blood.
That's scary. If you see Snowball from CJ Entus and you have Camille and Zed as your 1-3-1, who are you sending against them? Edge will struggle. The famous thing about Syndra is wants to stay in mid lane, play in a short lane, and get kills. That option when you're playing in the side lane, so a lot more difficult for them. And Rumble also not fantastic against either Camille or Zed. We mentioned that in many ways the Rumble was a team fighting choice and will struggle in lane against the Camille, especially over time. It's double bubble.
Yeah, double bubble comes down. Pure and Veritas both going to get traded on. Peacemaker does connect, so does a decent job, but Veritas goes low. Plague will be ticking away at him steadily, but still has a heal in the inventory, or in his kit, so he should be okay.
Was the 3-potion start with the long sword from Veritas, so doesn't have to exit lane. Yeah, you just struggle to see how a Kongdoo Monster that's losing in the mid game doesn't get overwhelmed by all the split pushing options for CJ. Why you look to someone like Punch to be the big separator. If Punch gets an item lead, gets a few kills, as best Peanut impression in this game, that might be the equalizer. But I feel like CJ, for the first time this series, has a lot more options as the game goes on. And then picking up first blood does mean that they are more likely to reach the mid game even or ahead.
Yep, even Candy. It's going to be down a bit as far as the CS is concerned, but this is exactly what you would expect here for the Zed. So Wave moving in. Very slight deficit at the moment, about 6 CS. Otherwise, he's okay. Spiderling coming in. Walks forward just a little bit too early. Otherwise, the ward would have expired. So Winged does get found out. But Roach is still very far forward. That's going to be the dash forward here with a hook shot. Roach is already down to half HP. He's going to try to wrap this one around into Punch, who's waiting for him at the tri-brush. He's now spotted. Cocoon connects. That's the flash out from Winged. Flash for flash, essentially burned out.
It seemed like Roach was playing towards his jungler rather than the laning spot. Could have just gone full disengage, but didn't want to lose out on experience.
It's an odd flash by Winged.
Yeah, ends up trading flashes in many ways. I agree. Winged's flash was peculiar, but you have to respect face-checking a Graves in his full rotation. Arguably too much respect, but a lot on the line. Both these teams desperate to make it into the winners match. Lane was going well for Soul and Gugur, but now we're getting into the wheelhouse of Caitlyn Lulu, and that means the pressure's going back over the side of CJ Entus in the bot lane.
Yep, just going to keep pushing him in. Trying to deny as much CS as he possibly can, so things going pretty well for Veritas thus far. And after that first blood, things just kind of going to slow down. I say that, though, as Wing starts wrapping around. Candy dashing forward. Does not have that death mark yet. The Cocoon will not land. Edge trying to run this one out. Doesn't have the Ghost, but still makes his way out to safety. Doesn't have to use either Summoner spell.
Yeah, as you say, doesn't have to invest in a Summoner spell. Could have flashed the Cocoon, but in this way has the tool for either the all-in from Zed at level 6 or a further gank. And it was good timing anyway. Already had 39 CS, so could pick up the Lost Chapter. Lane's in a really good spot in the bot lane for CJ, but pre-items being picked up. Rumble does have a happy time against Camille.
Candy getting that back stopped. Buys a couple extra seconds here for Edge. See, likely going to be the Hex Drinker coming through, I would expect. There we go. Full purchase is completed for the Zed. So a nice little start. Be very defensive and play, you know, even further forward into the face of Edge as this laning phase goes on.
So try and get lane positioning with the ambush. Obviously no threat of an all-in. Punch has had a good farming phase this game, but doesn't have any experience advantage over Wing just yet. First purchase of the Sheen for Sol, so looking for a potential all-in when his jungler comes top.
Veritas taking a bit of damage. TP's coming in. Or no, it's just the recall, sorry. I saw the swirly coming out. I thought perhaps there was somebody coming down, but Wing just disappearing.
Edge hanging around. Control ward will be spotted walking over the dead Scuttle Crab. One of those little things where he'd already pushed the minion wave in, so he can stand on the Scuttle Crab while the cannon minion is on the field and actually allow Sol to get a free cannon minion that would have been heavily harassed otherwise. So it's one of those things where he doesn't lose anything exiting lane, he gets his AD carry a cannon minion, so why not?
Nice old takeaway. But still slipping further and further behind in CS. 14 up now is Veritas. So in a very nice spot.
Know where Elise is on the map. We have Graves shadowing Rumble. Good wards, actually. They do spot out Elise on the Krugs as well. I believe that was placed by Punch with his jungle enchant just a moment ago.
Just trying to keep track of Winged, stop him from going and getting any ganks off. At the moment, the gold lead is pretty much non-existent for CJ. It's very close. And yet again, going to be one of the lesser Drakes starting us off. Not Cloud this time around, but the Ocean. So most of the jungler's attention is just being paid inside, clearing out those camps.
So to make this draft from Kongdoo Monster work, you need to be proactive. You already mentioned that 1-3-1 is so heavily, you know, not just one person, not just the Zed, say, warping a game. Both Zed and Camille outscale so hard in the 1-3-1 that you need to be making proactive moves, specifically around Drake, having other win conditions than just winning a sick team fight that CJ opted into against Doctor's Orders, let's say. So just farming is fine for CJ. CJ is winning in an even game because the mid game, they have so many options. So we're waiting to see Roach make the first big aggressive teleport. He'll have it back in about 20 seconds. It will also be about a 1.5-minute window where Sol can't counter teleport. So very important to see Roach actually make the Rumble pick work, because he could have gone for an Ecton and just been there to tussle up and just get a big CS advantage over the Camille. Doing fine in terms of CS, being competitive. But competitive doesn't matter at 35 minutes. And that's kind of the worry for Kongdoo Monster.
See, Veritas looks like the Blade of the Rune King build, perhaps, here for the Caitlyn. We saw Teddy going for the Infinity Edge rush earlier on.
It'll just be Vamp Scepter to get through trades. Remember that Nami gives a staying advantage over to Kongdoo Monster.
Oh.
Feels bad.
Yep. It's the casual walkover. Pops picks over onto the Scuttle Crab.
Caitlyn has never been a Blade champion because of range. Your auto attack range is so long that you get in weird range spots when you try to use the Blade of the Ruin King. So you're right, there's still a chance, just like Jinx has moved over to Blade of the Ruin King, but it's quite unlikely.
You look at those early map movements, what we've seen from CJ, seems like we're going full solo queue, and if I've learned anything from solo queue, it's that Blade of the Ruin King is what you rush on Caitlyn.
Blade of the Ruin King is very, very powerful at this particular juncture, so I think it's never the wrong choice, it's just not always the optimal choice at its current power level. Looks like we'll be playing on the Blade of the Ruin King full power patch at MSI, judging by 7.8 notes, so we'll be seeing plenty of Blade. I don't mind.
It's much better than the Jhin Varus.
I was overly Thallic, so I was ready for something new, so I'll take our new Blade of the Ruin King Overlords.
I mean, honestly, it feels like we have a lot more diversity in the meta at the moment than what we had, for the majority of the spring split. The top lane's not being completely dominated by tanks, so it's not just Maokai Nautilus every single game. We have Bruisers going in, Fizz is there to offer up as a counter if we do have those tanks coming out. So it feels like the meta's actually pretty fresh at the moment.
There's options,
Assassins are back in. I haven't seen them in a while. Ahri making a return as well, not just the AD Assassins.
And it's fun when there is the rock, paper, scissors in mid lane.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a half engaged coming through from Candy. Doesn't want to commit the death mark in, just trying to get some damage down onto Edge.
And I agree. When the consensus is just that one thing is too good, a tank tops for the longest time, the metagame gets very stagnant. It's all about just prepping for your teleport wards, taking turrets. Feels like we saw the same macro map movement every game for a long time. Well, admittedly, we got 3 years of lane swaps, so it's pretty much the same thing. Now it feels like you can go. It's cool that the fighters are now there to hold down the tanks, just like the Blade the Ruin King users and potentially abusers are there to take down the lethality. So there is options. We even see Jhin once in a while, rather than just being a staple of the meta. So while there's always been metas where certain people will be a patch Zerg, you know, you think of Dade and his ability to play some of the meta champs, and then Ryze went out of the meta and he struggled at Season 3 Worlds. It feels like right now, everyone's got at least one champion that they're really good on, and that's kind of a fun place to be.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. The meta's good, but honestly, right now, this game is kind of feeling like we've gone back in time to the lane swap meta. They might still be a 2v2 in the bottom lane, but things are very slowed down. No one wants to overcommit for anything. Haven't been able to find any real openings as far as ganks are concerned.
But when the teams have different identities, that's still a win for a team. And that team is CJE Entus, getting items onto split pushes. It's all about getting certain item thresholds and then starting a 1-3-1 that Kongdoo Monster aren't set up to repel. They can try and make all-in plays around the map, play team fights amazingly and win anyway, but try it 10 times and it should go the way of CJ's flash from Veritas.
Yeah, flashing away, doesn't want to get locked up by the bubble. Soul will still take that. He's in the hold to the face, but it's all right. Still has the ebb and flow there from Googer to keep him sustained. In addition to that Bilgewater Cutlass, so he's going to be in a decent enough spot.
Didn't have advanced defensive vision, but they did have vision of the river. So it was one of those situations where it was more of a reaction flash than maybe a necessary flash. You get why it happened, but
yeah,
whether it was necessary is a different question.
Candy being traded on, but Winged is here to back him up, so Edge won't be committing in for too much. Peacemaker coming down, but still Soul going to be quite all right in these extended trades. He's keeping the CS very close. Ward coming over the wall, Wing spotting out this red buff, tosses in the spider. Wants to find it, but Edge dashes it away. Picks it up, tosses it over to the side. And
they're not done though, they're sort of running straight to bot lane. With the recall, they want to just take turret. Soul has to exit top lane himself after being in the equalizer. The race for first pick will be run by CJ, you'd have to think.
Yeah, there's no way for Roach to get that. I mean, TP could have been answered out by Soul anyway, so that will be the turret going down. So our first little bit of action, as 1.6 thousand gold is going to be separating the team. CJ currently in the lead. If we learned anything from game number 2, it's that it doesn't really matter until that Nexus explodes.
Very zero-sum way of looking at it, but I get what you're saying. Any turret going down helps 1-3-1, helps split pushing. So CJ picking up the gold and also extending the lanes, which now are much longer with a turret being down, is exactly what they want. They can start getting flexible with their lane assignment. Caitlyn is probably the best champion. Oh, okay, the patience almost ran out, but Caitlyn's probably the best champion to be sitting in mid lane. Long attack range, very, very safe, non-committal wave clear. Candy starts his mission in the bot lane. We'll ping level 11 soon, and already the question is, okay, who's going to go there?
At this point, surviving the death mark going to be a bit of a challenge for anybody.
Full stacks on the Seeker's Arm Guard and Exhaust means Edge probably doesn't die the first time, but if anyone else is there, certainly will. Which mid lane brings me back to the Uzi Tabe days of Season 2. No Annie to be found, sadly. I don't know if she's okay.
Oh, damn. For a second I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, okay. I see. But the question is it the Michael Jackson or the Alien Ant Farm version?
You know, it's risky covering Michael Jackson, but I thought Alien Ant Farm did fine. I'll go with the classic, but I could appreciate arguments for both.
It's definitely a very unique take.
Sure. Continue the largely glacial pace, which, in my estimations, helps CJE Entus. Trinity Force now complete on Soul. Who needs boots? We got hook shot.
All the mobility you could possibly want.
You just feel like he's a Spectre's cowl and boots, you know, Merc treads away from just starting to wail away on Roach. Roach is built for team fighting, but Kongdoo Monster has certainly not opted into any of that.
No one really has. There just hasn't been any openings for it. I say that as the group ups start coming through here for Kongdoo.
Ooh, the double ward.
Oh,
The most vision.
the synergy, or lack thereof.
But Achilles, if they put down a control ward, it'll take longer to deny vision.
But then they give them more gold.
Oh no!
It's a catch-22. Look at that. See? Pure is just going to be reaping the benefits of those double wards.
So much money.
There's no one there to stop him. That's the most exciting thing that's happened.
That's true. I mean, you got to get excited about what's exciting.
Yeah.
We here at OGN want to make sure that if our voices go up, you guys know that you should be excited.
Yeah.
We're all about earning the hype.
I still love, I forget how long ago it was, Riv getting frustrated at nothing happening. It's just like, farming minions! Just, yeah!
Well, there was that famous EU game where there was, what, nothing died in the first 32 minutes or something? And that's when it's silly. When nothing's happened in 30 minutes, then you do get excited about wave clear.
Yeah. Just getting closer towards the base. I'm like a Varus, just cues it all.
Hey, look, we've had a lot of action. We've had a kill and a turret die. I know.
You're right. I'm taking what we have for granted. Really not appreciating it enough.
Does anyone else feel like Super Galaxy Rumble's too loud? He reminds me of when you don't mute the Twitch ads and it's like much louder than your stream setting was.
It's not as bad as you know, the likes of Lissandra, because it's just constant noise. Like Rumble's loud, but it's like infrequent, and then Lissandra is just all the time being annoying.
Well, Kuzan's not in this game, so we're Lissandra free, at least till tomorrow, sorry, till Thursday.
Yeah. You never know. Maybe she'll end up back in the meta at some point, and we can all suffer together.
Just take another second off that cue. We need more.
Yeah, just making the weirdest. For anybody that doesn't know the noises that Korean Lissandra makes, they think that we're insane.
Again, it was designed for when the queue had a longer cooldown. So
yeah.
The shorter the cooldown, the more egregiously screamy and shouty Korean Lissandra is.
All right, well, something starting to happen. Never mind, Candy shows up. Stops him from taking the turret.
We're in a lull.
We are in a lull.
I think Twitch chat knows what a lull is.
Yep. I'm sure the spam will be coming through momentarily.
Kongdoo had a lot of games like this in the regular season where they got through the early game comfortably. Let's say they were on a losing streak, then they had a good early game. They're like, all right, it's going well. Let's keep being defensive. But then they would get outscaled or make a single mistake, and it does feel eerily like one of those games where Kongdoo needs to make things happen with the draft they have, but it's kind of like they're looking at Twitch and be like, all right, late game Twitch, this will sort itself out, but late game Twitch is going to get zerged really hard by the double solo lane assassins.
We almost had some action. Not even the Ocean Drake has been touched.
I mean, that's understandable.
By either side. It's understandably frustrating.
I like to think the Ocean Drake is only killed in the hope that there is a better one next.
Pretty much. That's about the gamble that you would think somebody would take at this point. Maybe you get an Infernal Drake or a Mountain Drake to help you, you know, just accelerate the pace of this game.
Things can go so wrong for both teams. The team that's naturally set up to fight for Drake is Kongdoo Monster, but they're aware of the outplay potential of both Camille and Zed, so they're respecting that and just returning to farming and hoping to get their Twitch farm. And CJE aren't really set up for more than picks, so in the end it just stalls out Drake. Drake feels like an overinvestment for both teams, and thus we get the end result, which is the most action is killing a control ward and then it being instantly replaced by another control ward.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm all about. Ward kills used to be the height of crowd interaction, Kilios.
That's true. Everybody would cheer for that.
We've trained them away from that somehow.
I remember when again, going back to when I went to the NALCS for the first time, every time Balls was on the screen after the C9 games, it just
oh, action!
Here we go! It's going to be the Cocoon in with that ultimatum thrown down. A second kill picked up for CJE Entus.
Invoke the name of Balls and get action. That's what we got here. Got the action. Yeah, that's right. Think about that sentence there. As finally, Kongdoo Monster looking for their own action.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be the turret going down here.
Everywhere
now, Candy
action.
starting to dash in. Suddenly, action spilling forth onto the Rift. Turret will be traded back in the top lane. So 2 here for CJ, maintaining that gold lead. And then things are going to slow down again.
That's right. We need to calm down. Deep breath. That was too much action.
All right.
We still don't want to peak too early. Remember, it's still another set after this one. It's not a normal Champions Day.
It's about a 5-minute cooldown before I can invoke the balls again and ask for more action.
Oh boy, we're going down risky territory in this cast.
It's a longer cooldown than Syndra's ultimate. Candy though dashing out, Soul pushing forward, has that spray and pray up, force out the flash.
And he's happy about that. That's suddenly extra likelihood that Soul will live through the next fight. Ninja Tabi Phantom Dancer may be one way he stays healthy. We'll see how healthy he steps now. His Soul!
Oh, that's going to be Soul dashing forward, looking for the hook shot. Tidal Wave comes down and pops up multiple.
Big equalizer!
That's equalizer thrown in, and Roach goes for it, finds the double kill as he gets Pure and Soul winged on the run, able to rappel up onto the Raptors, but this turret will fall down, and Kongdoo Monster suddenly just pushing forward. 2 kills, a turret. They're looking for more as they go forward onto this tier 2 Veritas. So low, the rockets from Roach ripping through him. The stun comes out the W. Not quite enough to finish him off, but they shove him back to the fountain, and that's the tier 2. The inner turret line being broken by Kongdoo.
Game bursts into life. Fantastic equalizer from Soul, but a really big misplay from, fantastic equalizer from Roach, but a really big misplay from Soul because Soul dived in, ulted, had the wild growth, then disengaged. Watch here, that's the wombo, but his first thought is to back away, so suddenly Winged is out of position, and Roach just opens up with a huge equalizer, has to be exhausted just to drop the damage on that AoE. And from there, it's just free target acquisition for Kongdoo. So while the first instinct from Soul was to go deep on the Camille, the fact that he disengaged meant that his team was kind of caught in no man's land with the melee champion engaging. The Lulu ult wasn't used in a profitable way, and teamfight goes the way of Kongdoo Monster.
Yeah, really big opening for them. Still just going to be 800 gold in the lead for their trouble, so still a ways to go before they can close this one out. Candy popping that Yomos, cheating forward, just trying to push Soul back. Trying to fake him out, get him away from that turret, which is just a couple hits from dead.
Kind of the biggest thing that isn't clear on the kill feed, or clear to most people that watched, is that Kongdoo Monster won a team fight using no exhaust. They still have double exhaust to either use for maximum duration or shut down both diving assassins. Something that should almost never happen is winning team fights without investing 1 and potentially 2. It means the next team fight is even more likely to go the way of Kongdoo Monster.
Pretty impressive from them. They need so much more to close out this game. Pretty much just evened up the score.
Teleport's up for Soul. They still can play the 1-3-1, so still work to be done.
Candy going low. Tidal Wave will come out. Not quite going to clip Winged, but might not even need it. Soul still hot on his heels. Firing away, flashing forward. One more hit will do it.
Doesn't have the range.
Can he get it? Throws down the vision, looking for it. The shield comes out from Pure, and Winged will stay alive. Throws out the redemption to try to kill him. Bubble connects onto Candy. Soul can't get over the wall. He's going to go forward with the death mark. Dashes back off to the side. Get a bit of damage down onto Edge as he enters into the Zonias. But yeah, Punch and Roach, they're starting up the Baron.
They have to force something. They know that Camille will make short work of the inner turret. They turn onto it. Will have to be trade tanking here from Kongdoo Monster, but they're teleporting in.
Yeah,
Zed won't get there. Elise won't get there either.
He's TPing in. Smite completely down onto Punch. Can't botch this one, and it goes over to them, and they will be able to find it. But CJ, can they pinch in? Can they try to find some exit kills to deny some of these buffs? He's in the hole coming through, but overall looks like Kongdoo will get cut off from the bottom side by Soul and Pure. This is still a very dangerous spot to be in for CJ. The members of Kongdoo are still relatively healthy. Hookshot comes forward. They lock down Roach. X-Tech ultimatum in onto Punch. He goes low, but Soul comes up with the kill in onto his counterpart in Soul. Coming back in, looking for the triple kill. Can he get it? The rappel comes down. Wing drops. He falls. Maybe even the Quadra as he dashes forward, looking for Candy. Finishes him off. Won't be able to get the Penta as Pure goes sprinting out of there, but Kongdoo Monster gets the Baron, and they completely shatter CJ yet again.
It was all on Soul's decision-making of how long he could wait before engaging, and yes, engaging onto Soul. The double Soul confusion was a bit of a headache, but Soul needed to make the right call with the Hextech ultimatum. Zed was still far away. Elise was still far away. you can see what they're thinking. If Zed can get there with the weird positioning, with the lower health bars, this is the sort of team fight that could be sort of like a skirmish. But when he goes in, Zed is still a screen away, and Elise is at least half a screen away. So Soul's whole health bar on the Camille is for naught. And Candy gets around the backline, takes down Guger, but doesn't find massive value otherwise. Nice flash from Edge to stay alive. A Kongdoo monster. As long as the Twitch lives, they should win a team fight, and they managed it twice now as CJ were forced into a reaction because Kongdoo Monster made the right macro call of forcing the Baron. If they did not force the Baron, they would be dictated to by the split push, but there wasn't even enough time for the Camille to take down the bot lane turret. It pulled away on a half-health turret, and it's going to be bonus objectives to the side of Kongdoo Monster.
Yep. So Ocean Drake finally going over to them. Seeing that it's going to be another Ocean Drake.
Well, see, that's why they didn't kill it. Woo. They knew, you know?
All right. Well, they had the foresight that we did not. So yet again, going to be split pushing up on this top side of the map, but Roach is there to match him, and the rest of the team split pushing down towards the bottom side, looking for another inner turret. It's the two remaining in top. Candy here, but won't be able to clear out these minions, so just has to concede this tower. Kongdoo, they keep the ball rolling. 5-3 in turrets, 6-4 in kills. And a 5,000 gold up. Dashing forward, looking for Roach. Exit ultimatum comes down. Blue buff picked up by Soul. Dashing back in. Zhonya's coming through from Roach. Trying to get here to keep him alive. Flashes away, just trying to buy time. Slows him up. Has a big flame spit of the redemption. Will not find it, but the stun comes through. The Q barely going to hit and miss. So the W will not connect. And now Soul just trying to sprint his way out of here. Keep himself safe. If not, just get the execution.
It's very maneuverable, so should be able to get away. Very, very difficult to take down, even with reinforcements coming as cooldown reduction. Could also just go for the suicide, but decides to stay alive. So good escape. Ends up being a 1 for 0. Had to make long work of it because didn't have a lot of magic resist, but working towards the Guardian Angel now will be more one-sided. Sort of thing we expected to see maybe 5-6 minutes ago. But the split push now really is going to be in full gear for CJ Entus. So it's going to be very much the group as 5, make a big decisive team fight happen for Kongdoo Monster, and CJ needing to ward defensively to allow for the 1-3-1 to profit from.
Now Kongdoo losing out on Roach. So we'll slow them down a bit. Really only able to get that one turret in the bottom lane. And with the Baron buff thus far, wave is being moved up top. But still a ways away. See if they're able to force this out. Soul yet again in the bottom side of the map. TP just about to be available for him, so can join in across the map at a moment's notice should his team need him. Kongdoo, this is where their shot calling has to be on point in order for them to get out of this series.
Well, yeah, a lot of easy objectives to take. Taking inner turrets across the map, up from the top lane, which is the next easiest objective. That's why they're making a play around there. We'll stay grouped as 4, have Rumble to teleport after. Not having the mid turret down for CJ Entus is actually now kind of costing them because they don't have a long lane in mid to pivot through. Seems to be the big goal there. They have basically the perfect team fight, but perfect split push comp with Caitlyn as the 1 AD choice with a safe wave clear, but because the map is surprisingly narrow at 29 minutes with mid lane turret up, can be only so decisive about their map rotations, and for now, Kongdoo establishing a vision line and really targeting this last inner turret. We see that Ninja Tabi and Phantom Dancer build coming through from Soul. May even be a Bloodthirster as the next item, just for another way of being able to shrug off a diving assassin. And Dancer Ninja Tabi is a lot of reduced physical damage.
Kongdoo pushing in. See, all the members of CJ just having to hide out of the jungle as they push in. Figure out this vision. Try to maintain control. The wave currently pushed up just in front of that turret, but Veritas is there to help clear the wave. Keep it staved off. Breaking this would be very important here for Kongdoo, as it would just leave basically the insides of the base for CJ as the only safe spot that they could go to.
And with the range of Caitlyn, though, if Rumble is showing on bot lane, you don't really have to respect a turret dive from Kongdoo. It's not the sort of comp that turret dives, so the wave clear is just matched by CJ Entus. So even with the posturing and the investment of multiple control wards, it's not realistically a team set up to actually take down an inner turret. Mill has to back away because no longer do they have eyes on the members of Kongdoo Monster.
Well, this very much could just come down to that Baron that's spawning in about 35 seconds.
So one place where CJ will be forced to go for the 5v5 and their wave clear won't allow them to navigate through is the Baron. I think you're very likely in that particular regard of being correct. Tracking onto CJ, only now getting control over their red side jungle. It's denied for them for the last few minutes. You can keep this. They're playing a high pressure game. They're trying to keep CJ accountable for as long as possible. The shortest leash is all Kongdoo Monster really wants, and Guardian Angel now onto the Camille. Gonna be a bit more reckless with the split push and the dive.
And you saw how well he could handle that 1v1 against Roach, so especially with the GA, expect him to go balls to the wall.
Yeah, even with a goal disadvantage, just how the champions line up. No criticism of Roach in that particular regard.
Yeah.
And this outer mid lane turret that stayed along so long. Gonna be taken down to half, but no more. They have some eyes on Twitch, who admittedly isn't stealth, so they do have a lot of eyes on Twitch.
Yep. Clear out that ward, but can't make it into the stealth to try to get a jump onto somebody like Candy. And Soul keeps pushing forward. Able to get that inner turret there for his team. But pushing into the base is going to be a bit more difficult for him. Kind of just hovering in between, not sure exactly where he needs to go. Not sure if CJ will need him for a team fight or if he can just maintain this split.
This game of hide and seek happening with the Camille, who finally re-enters bot lane. Kongdoo, again, the one spot they can be decisive and force a fight that they could potentially win is Baron. Got the control ward there, trying to push up the vision line as much as possible. They might catch Winged.
Winged, yeah, he gets bubbled. Down to half HP, flashes away. They can't quite finish him off.
But even if he's forced to recall, that is a win for Kongdoo Monster. They can just dive in and start this Baron.
They're going to go over the wall, punch starting this one up. Meanwhile, Roach getting jumped on. The ultimatum coming through. He's going to buy some time here with that zone. He has flashes away from the tactical sweep, but so he's pushing forward. He wants this kill. Flashes away from the rocket. Not standing inside of that equalizer. Can't quite finish him off. Roach needs to make it out of here. Redemption coming down. Will pop him back up, keep him relatively healthy. Soul will exit. The wave's not quite there, so can't get onto the turret. The Baron pulled off by Kongdoo.
Yeah, little mistakes on both sides. Soul, not known as a carry player, kind of messes up the all-in, and credit to Roach for flashing away and not dying. From the side of Kongdoo, I think we saw Gugur it was, who put down a more aggressive control ward to spot out any of the reinforcements for Baron, but he was actually the one with the control ward on Baron, so they no longer had exclusive vision over the Baron pit. They had a control ward denying vision, and then there was just a regular sight ward they couldn't clear. So a bit of a mistake with bookkeeping stops it from being the sort of Baron that Kongdoo Monster can start, and a bit of a mechanical outplay from the side of Roach stops it from being a free inhibitor turret for CJ Entus. So the end result is a bit of equilibrium between the two teams.
Things just going to slow down yet again here. Bush and Drake has since spawned. The second here for Kongdoo. And only the second Drake that we would see before the Elder, which is still a ways off if we see that one come through. Control ward not quite clipping that ward in the back of the pit.
The Elder Dragon being so low value, just double Ocean, is actually a bad thing for Kongdoo Monster. We talked about how they needed to use their comp to be aggressive around the early Drakes, and that wasn't just to get Ocean stats, it was to make Elder Dragon a secondary place that forces a fight. And still Elder Dragon will deserve some respect, but it's not a 5-stack Elder that CJ Entus have to respect.
Yeah, not nearly as much damage as you would want off that. And the buff's not really affecting a whole lot. Kongdoo for now just trying to maintain control of vision around the Baron pit. So a couple wards thrown down here by CJ, Punch and Gugur waiting in the brush. Finally figure out that it's been warded out. Be able to clear this out. Boom comes through and Punch takes quite a bit of damage. You can see that full AP build coming out from Winged, really doing some work onto the Graves.
So roaming around the red side jungle. Every time he goes off the screen, suddenly starting Baron looks that much more risky. The side of Kongdoo Monster. It's a really exciting tussle in terms of the vision war No action is happening on screen, but we're waiting to see what the go button is going to be. It wasn't quite winged, having to flash away. Punch being chunked out. A submarine play. Not a true submarine, there's no Shen, but a big opening from Soul might be it. Here it is!
Oh yeah, finding Veritas, takes him down, but the Wild Growth comes through, and now Soul gets locked up, still alive though, and is able to finish off the Caitlyn. The Death Mark will pop him down, but the Redemption actually hits right before, and he stays in the fight. Meanwhile, Punch finishes off Candy. The carries of CJ taken out of the fight, and Kongdoo will turn their sights onto Baron at last.
What a clutch redemption just before the pop. We saw the swirling blades. That should have signified the death, but redemption comes through. Well channeled on the side of Guga. They turn onto a Baron. Winged isn't there to contest it. Will be Baron Kongdoo Monster. We were looking for the big outplay, and there it was.
Yeah, they got it. Soul able to do absolutely nothing other than move those minions up towards this tier 1, but they still can't even break the line. And now with another Baron, Kongdoo, we'll see if they can shatter the base further of CJ. Just really good catch by Soul.
A lot of patience from Soul opening up. Just wants to kill Veritas instantly.
Look how healthy he is in the spray and pray.
Insane damage. Just utterly insane damage. But watch here as the blades confirm death, of course, onto the recipient until redemption means that he lives. Basically a 0.5 second timer there. But enough, as Guga had channeled it early, and it took a while for Candy to actually commit, as he wanted to be able to dodge an ability with the death mark. That's a fun mind game that we just haven't seen much of an interaction, given that Zed has been very much a tertiary pick in this current meta. Vantage Kongdoo Monster again. Their comp with such narrow win conditions, they're playing to them, and they're just slightly staying ahead of CJ Entus.
Yeah, I mean, that's one auto attack away from the Zed finishing off that Twitch. But can't get it, and now they have to hold onto their turrets as best as possible unless they lose those inhibitors to boot. Kongdoo getting that push down to the bottom side of the map. Won't be able to find a whole lot of anything. The trap line from Veritas stopping them from pushing up inside of the base. So gets a bit of work done here. Can't quite finish off that turret.
It's 1 HP!
Actually 1 HP. You don't see that every day.
Hey, got some jinx going on here.
I wish. That would be pretty interesting to see.
I call it half a score. Score somewhere. Didn't really deserve that. He's still licking his wounds, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's got fresh ones.
Oh. Tough life. 4 times the bridesmaid.
But, you know, the first cut is the deepest, so the 2 HP is really the one that gets you.
That was the 2 Shens, actually. Was the first cut.
Right.
The Monster bringing up the minion wave. 2 Barons. Been so big for them. Soul can just try and play PvE, but turret dive's possible.
Yeah, really good. Equalizer thrown down, just pushing them off. Veritas getting chunked out. That's going to open up for this inhibitor. Super creeps. Now going to be pressuring out the base of CJ. Kongdoo Monster. See how much more they can get. Soul finally gets rid of that turret. That free reign by himself in the mid lane. Finishes it off.
Edge doing his best secret agent impression, 005 on the Syndra. There still is the minigame of can the 2 assassins assassinate the Twitch. Twitch is needed for...
He's 5-0-3.
Kongdoo Monster win a team fight, sure, but Steric's gauge is now there. Phantom Dancer and Ninja Tabi is negative 24% on specifically the auto attacks, but in general, there's quite a lot of resist, but he's still Twitch. He still has very low base health. There still is the chance that he's assassinated, but speaking of assassination...
Yeah, just chucks the flask over the wall, can't quite get more than that. But the trap line not going to be completed, which opens up Kongdoo for this turret, which is just getting shredded down. Candy pops the Yomus, starting to sprint in from the sidelines, but just can't find an opening to get on top of Soul or Edge.
Both exhausts are up crucially. We already talked about how having exhaust up could be the difference for Kongdoo Monster.
Poking in, Super Creeps getting ready to arrive at the baseline in the top lane. That'll draw the attention of somebody on the side of CJ, more than likely Soul. Wave's also prepped on the bottom side if they want to rotate over, try to finish off that last inhib turret and have them all exposed.
Not coming into bot lane at all. That's going to be an even lane, trying to brute force mid lane, but definitely different paths of engage for Soul and the rest of the crew from CJ.
Dash forward from Soul, not able to find the entry in on the edge. No one there to follow up, and everybody on Kongdoo turns onto him. He won't last very long.
Neither Edge nor Soul are free enough to walk up for auto attacks, so for now, the battle of taking down this inhibitor is slow. This percentage play would be for someone to go bot lane and start pushing up the minions, which are slow pushing. They're trying to take the more aggressive line, but there is windows to punish them here as Soul still looking for the right engage.
Poking them as best as possible. They clear out that first wave of super creeps. Another one still a bit further off, so Kongdoo monsters say, yeah, you know what, this isn't working out, maybe we should just shift down. Start cheating their way, but now having a bit of hesitation as they cut back into mid. Takes a headshot from the Caitlyn. Worked down pretty low, but otherwise it's going to be healthy. Life Steal plus the ebb and flow coming through. They don't sustain in the fight.
Soul can't afford to use his ultimate to kill this turret. Extend range there to the moment that's down. It's basically the go button for the enemy team.
It's really just these traps. No one wants to step on them. And it's stopping them from pushing forward to get the hits in onto the inhibitor.
A lot of Candy's gold has been put into a Guardian Angel, so the actual threat from the Zed is lower than you'd expect 41 minutes into a game.
That's a good stun. From far away. Good comes down. Punch gets locked up. A couple more hits onto that turret. Will take it out as Soul again starts poking in from the sidelines, looking for a window of opportunity, but not able to find any.
Punch can just go front door this particular inhibitor turret.
Yeah,
Not set up to defend it. Soul, this could be the big engage. He needs to go.
He needs something absolutely massive. They have completely in vision here as he cheats forward around by the minions. And looks like Kongdoo will just be able to back off. So they knock down 2 inhibs, 1 in top, 1 in bot. Mid still standing. And the super creeps have got a bit of damage down onto those Nexus turrets. Looks like one about 60% taken.
It's mission successful though for CJ. 2 inhibitors down. The inhibitor on the other side of the map, Guger.
Well, he's going low, but you can see Roach is still nearby, as is Soul. So Camille will not be able to push forward for the kill.
Reinforcement was there, like you say. Now the inhibitor opposite the Baron is going to be downed as the Baron is about to spawn in a minute.
Keeps trying to buy more and more time here. Just delay Guger yet again.
Yeah, it's teleport, so main job is to slow down the setup for Kongdoo Monster. Kongdoo have been so controlled this game. Some will say they've been too defensive in their choices, but when they've been set up to be so ruthlessly exploited in 1-3-1, they have been, I think, rightfully careful in most spots.
It's not only that, but it's also, I mean, this is the first round of your LCK careers on the line. You don't want to lose out on that one, but here goes Big Equalizer coming down, Winged absolutely getting shredded. Goes up with the rappel, has nowhere to go, drops in behind the rest of the team. And should get burned out. There we go, collateral damage from downtown. Punch takes him out. The Baron about to spawn. There it is. No smite available for CJ. Kongdoo will absolutely just burn through this Baron.
All the solo queue games put into the Rumble are paying off for Roach, whose equalizers have been massively on point in this game. Much superior to what Soul was showing us in Game 2. Soul has basically been playing a solo mission PvE in the bot lane, trying to delay, but against double inhibitors being down, and okay, the inhibitors are respawned, but no inhibitor turrets to speak of. I think you need to get back in the base. Yeah,
he's finally starting the recall, but Kongdoo are already pushing in. They still have super creeps now empowered by Baron as they look to take out this top lane inhib yet again. They got mid, they got top, so all 3 going to be exposed. The minion wave at bottom pretty far away. And a bit of that HP coming back onto the Nexus turret, so not nearly as low as I expected, but still, Kongdoo completely in control. And look at that, they can body block the ace in the hole.
They're learning. Everate, take notes.
Well, ultimatum coming down, they find Soul. Wild Growth does pop him up in the air as well, but Camille's just getting absolutely destroyed. Has to kite his way out, does not want to lose that Guardian Angel. It's early on to the fight.
One tool that can close down the Twitch has already been used. Now only the Death Mark to respect, and we already said there isn't a lot of AD onto this Zed, so wait for this Twitch to open up, and you will see 6-item Twitch rip through CJ Entus.
Well, there we go, jumping in onto Candy, already forces out the flash, the dash back, but it's not going to be enough. They absolutely destroyed Pure, get double GA at the same time. They'll go ahead and pop Souls as Veritas and Candy try to make it back into the fountain. Looks like they may just be able to do so, but slightly edge. In the end, able to get it with the Unleashed Power, taking out the Caitlyn. It's just Candy, just Soul left. They won't be able to do a damn thing. 45 minutes even on the clock. The Nexus crumbles.